there! Thanks for downloading our show. This week, I had a very lovely chat with my sister, Paula, as we always do every week. We recap our Halloweens, of course, because we have to trade notes. And we talk a lot about the entertainment industry this week. We normally don't like to talk about, political and current events, but we did talk about Kevin Spacey because we're both huge fans and we're incredibly disappointed by the latest news. And we also talk a little bit about our own experiences, which almost everyone on the planet has also had. Nothing too bad. And then, of course, our ugly and awkward moments of the week. So thank you so much for supporting the show. And thanks for downloading and sharing.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
That's not what your mom said last night.
Paula?
All right, ladies, let's not fuck it up.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the Uglee Truth.
Welcome to the Uglee Truth. It is episode 233. Ugh. I'm in my glorious bedroom studio.
Oh.
This is Jamie with my sister Paula, who's probably in her gorgeous bedroom studio, I assume.
Yes, I'm on my bed with two cats surrounding me.
You have two cats?
Yes. Hopefully they'll leave me alone.
They won't. The second that we start talking about something where you need to focus, they will be like, meow, meow.
Yeah, they'll come and sit on my lap and rub their faces on my microphone.
They'll be like, hey, what is this? Anyway, welcome to the Uglee Truth. Two sisters talking about their daily lives. I have been informed that we should probably tell people every week that we are sisters and not sisters, but sisters.
Oh, okay.
I've never been in a situation where I say, oh, she's my sister, where they go, oh, that's really? Oh, okay. It's more like sisters. Well, that's interesting.
It is a good thing to be sisters.
It's always a good thing. Yes. And we have had women reach out to us and say, you guys are like the sisters I never had.
Yeah, that's true.
It happens all the time, actually. And I love that. Or I've had men tell me, like, yeah, I listen to your show. It sounds like my sisters when they get together and drink alcohol or whatever, So anyway, that's who we are. What was it? Last week, it was almost 90 last week. In fact, Halloween, which was just a few days ago, we don't trick or treat, obviously, because our youngest is 17 now, but opening and closing the door, it was chilly, but it was not like, oh, get a sweater on. I mean, it was balmy. It was a balmy Halloween.
I'm the stay-at-home candy passer-outer, and Victor takes the kids out to go trick-or-treating. And Olivia was a cheerleader, and I bought a white turtleneck to go underneath her outfit because I didn't want her to freeze.
Yeah.
And then Ryan was a lumberjack, and he had just a giant flannel on. But that was long sleeves. And so he went with that, and they weren't really cold.
Ryan looked like the Bounty paper towel man.
I know, didn't he?
I thought that's what he was. I'm like, he really gets some creative ideas.
It kind of surprised me. He's like, Mom, I think I'm going to be a lumberjack this year. I'm like, what? So they went out trick-or-treating. I barely passed out 5 things of candy. And really? I think what happened was we put black light bulbs in all of our lights.
Oh, too dark.
And the other part too is our doorbell is broken. And so we made a sign that says, please knock, doorbell broken. But by the time we realized it was getting kind of late. And so we didn't have anybody come. So now we have all this candy. I mean,
oh God,
it's a good problem to have, but
well, is it though? I hate it. I feel guilty every time I bust into any leftover candy. I just feel the rolls of fat developing.
I know.
Whenever I eat a mini Crunch bar.
I've had 5 things of little Snickers minis.
Oh, those are so good.
And that was just today. So,
and it's early, everyone. Hey, Snickers goes good with coffee.
It does.
Everybody knows.
It really does.
Yeah, it was funny because we've been in this house for it'll be 5 years in the spring. So 4.5 years. And every year that we've been here, the first year we got none. And then we might get 2 or 3, and that's it. So because when we lived at our old house, I would have to buy the 2 of the big bags of minis, and we'd go through most of it because we lived right by the school, and so every kid on the planet lived there. So it was really fun. Well, we moved to a neighborhood where it's a smaller cul-de-sac, and I would say 90% of the people who live here are retired and older, so there's no kids. And so this year, there's been a lot of the retired people are downsizing, so they're selling, moving close to, their families or whatever.
Oh.
All these families are moving in with smaller kids. So this year, and I've said this many times, I buy the full-size bars because I think, hey, if you get to me, you are going to be rewarded.
Yep.
And so
you live in the rich neighborhood. Just admit it, and you have to give out the full size ones.
No, there's no pressure, but I just figured if you're going to walk down my lane and get to my door, because we're the only there's 3 houses on my lane, and of the 3, we're the only one that does candy. Because the people that live directly across from us, they kind of co-travel. They spend half their month in San Jose because they're all dentists.
Oh.
And the other half here. They're a very super close family. So it's like the parents and the son and the wife and all the grandkids, they all live, they have 2 homes. And so I think they have a practice in both cities. And so they I think that's the deal. But anyway, they're really, really nice, but they're never home. And so they never do candy. And then Fran, who lives next door, is like 90 and she doesn't either.
Right.
So anyway, if you get to us, I'm rewarding you.
No, that makes sense.
This year, I bought a 32 pack of full size Kit Kat, Reese's Pieces, and Hershey, like a mix.
Yeah.
I passed out all of them.
Hey, that's good.
I even had to bust out the bag of minis that I bought for just to have. And I even had to hand out some of that. It was so great. And I'm sure the stragglers were probably a bit disappointed. Because
they're just like, hey, you said this bitch had full size. What's going on?
Exactly. In fact, I had one Hershey bar left and I had it on top of the bowl of the minis. And when I opened up the door, there was like 5 kids there and they literally started fighting over the bar. I had to take the bar and give it to Daryl.
Oh my God.
I'm like, none of you are getting it. And they're like, what? And I'm like, here. And I gave them handfuls of the other stuff. But what was funny is this one group came in and I was handing out full size Reese's because all the good stuff went first, obviously. So I handed out the Reese's and the Kit Kats. And this one girl, I put a Kit Kat in her thing full size. And she goes, my life is complete. She turned around and walked away.
Aren't kids so dramatic?
I freaking loved it. I loved it. It was so fun. And I said, see, this is exactly what I was wanting when we moved in. This is what I wanted. It was perfect. It lasted I think our last straggler was maybe 7:45, and that was it. It was done.
Aww.
I loved it. And I'm like, oh, good.
I don't remember any costumes that wowed me. They were all just normal costumes. Did you see any particular costumes that
there was the little ones, like the 3-year-olds, they were all dressed up like dragons. They were all the puffy, warm, snuggly costumes.
I saw a few princesses like that.
I did. I saw a gypsy. I saw lots of firemen and police officers, a lot of nurses. It was very interesting this year. Not too many superheroes, and then there was not hardly any scary.
I saw one scary kid, but I just couldn't tell if he was an adult that was just a little short and round, or if he was a little kid that was just kind of short and round. Yeah. But he had this mask on with this long nose.
Ew.
So I'm like, is this like a Da Vinci mask or what is this thing? I don't really know, but I'm just like, here's your candy, just go.
Goodbye. Yeah, really interesting though. And there was a lot of princessy ballerina type stuff for the girls.
Did you get any teenagers or anything like that?
No, I think the oldest group, they might have been 12, but
that's not bad. They're still polite when they're that age.
Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot of those stragglers. We're like, hey, let's go to the rich neighborhood and see what we can get.
I hate teenagers when they come trick-or-treating. I'm like, go home. You're too old.
I don't know where, I think it was in Canada, they passed an ordinance that kids over the age of 15 couldn't trick or treat and you would be fined if you were.
I think that's a good law to have. I mean, we were talking to Ryan and we said that we think this is probably his last year of dressing up and trick or treating because he's just getting too old,
Well, he's 12, right? He'll be 12?
Yeah, and this time next year he'll literally be turning 13. He'll be like almost 4 weeks away from turning 13 or less.
The only way that he can get away with it next year is if he has a really good group of friends in middle school, and it's usually the last hurrah. 7th grade tends to be the last hurrah year, and then they convert it into having parties. Then they have Halloween parties like the weekend leading into Halloween.
Yeah, I guess, well, since I'm the one that usually stands back and holds the candy, they could probably hang out at my house. Well,
yeah, if you wanted to throw a party. Yeah. I think Malia went to a friend's house and they kind of just hung out and watched scary movies for Halloween.
Yeah.
But I told her, I said, well, maybe next year we'll have a Halloween party. And that way you'll have a reason to dress up and, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of parties, Ryan is turning 12 in like a matter of weeks. And so I said, well, have you decided what you want to do for your birthday? And he said, I want to have a sleepover with like a few of my friends. And so I'm like, okay.
Interesting.
I think we can accomplish that.
For sure,
So he invited 4 friends, I think. And so he passed out the invitations and everything, but now he's a couple of the boys are saying like, well, my parents aren't sure, and I have a baseball league, and but Sam definitely is coming, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, what if it ends up just being the one boy? I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? And he's just like, I don't know.
Have a party. Just have a party then. And what we do when they're older, we have a party. And then whoever can spend the night stays. And if you can't, then you leave at 10. That way, no one feels like they're missing out. And if they can't stay, no big deal. Because, some kids actually are kind of anxious about spending the night. It's not like it used to be. And so a lot of them are like, I'd rather just go home.
Yeah.
They don't want to say, I don't want to spend the night, or my parents don't let me spend the night. Because a lot of parents they're not into that anymore. Yeah. Because people are so horrible. So sometimes they just don't want to do it. I'm very leery about it, but I know all of Malia's friends now, the ones that she spends the night at, so I'm cool with it. Sometimes she'll throw in a rogue name. Oh yeah, so Jenny, we're gonna all spend the night. And I'm like, who's Jenny? Oh, she did it. I'm like, no.
Yeah, right.
Or Daryl may have taken her to Jenny's house once. I'm like, what's up with Jenny? He's like, she can't stay there. So, it's one of those. I'm like, okay, got it.
Well, I put on the invitation after I gave all the details. I put on the invitation at the bottom saying, some of you parents I may not have had the chance to meet. If you would like, you can call me, or we can meet at the school and, just get to know one another. And so, and then I also listed the 2 movies that we'd be watching. And if they were uncomfortable with the movies, we could always change it to something else.
So what? So if they don't like Debbie Does Dallas, then they're out?
Right,
Is that it?
Exactly. No, we're going to watch iRobot and Dumb and Dumber. So,
oh God, Paula, what is this, 1970?
What do you want me to watch? Brian picked it out. He wanted to watch a scary movie, and iRobot is very suspenseful.
Okay. Jeez. So it's a very organized party. From this time to this time, we will be eating our snacks. From this time to this time will be the movies, and then you will go to bed. Good night.
Well, they're all going to be sleeping on the living room floor unless I can cram them into Ryan's room.
No, you won't. What's going to end up happening is they're going to be playing video games till 3 a.m. That's exactly. Probably. You better have a shit ton of Mountain Dew and Doritos. That's all I'm saying.
I just hope that he actually gets, everyone to come. Or not everyone, but I mean, at least 3 people to come, or 2.
Well, look, the party rule is you invite as many as you want because 20% show. That's okay. The rule. Only 20% show up to any party you have. And if you prepare for 100%, expecting 20%, and be glad if 20% shows. That's usually the rule.
Okay.
He should have. So if only one is staying, that's 20%, 25%. That's pretty good. So that's why you have to over-invite.
We'll see what happens.
There you go. So I don't know how much you like Kevin Spacey.
I love Kevin Spacey.
I love Kevin Spacey. I mean, am I allowed to say that I love him still? I don't even know where we're at.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what we're allowed to do anymore.
We loved him before when we thought he was straight. We could still love him even though he's gay. It was never going to be reciprocal. So
I never ever thought he was straight. Ever.
Everybody knew he was gay. That was.
It was I think it was just one of those worst kept secrets.
Yeah, it's not like it was a shocker. I think what was the shocker about once he finally came out about being gay was that he also, either he or the victim came out saying, I did attempt to, molest a 14-year-old boy 30 years ago. It's just like you could have done those in different
separately,
different sentences, because people don't want to associate being gay and with molestation. Children, people do it all the time. That already happens.
What was funny when it first came out, I have so many problems with what's been going on in the last month or so with the accusations.
Yeah.
No one's really said what I've been thinking. And so I start questioning myself, like maybe I'm the wrong person. And I'm okay with it if someone wants to educate me and explain it to me, other than, hey, they can do whatever they want. That kind of explanation is not what I'm looking for. But the Kevin Spacey thing for me was difficult. And I think this is kind of along the same lines of people who really struggled with Bill Cosby.
Right.
When that all started coming out, we were like, no, that's Mr. Huxtable. He would never, And so a lot of people had to grasp that what we were presented with from the entertainment world is not the real person. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing that's happening with Kevin Spacey. We were presented with a package that we really loved, and yet that's not who he really is. And it's one of those horrible things where you have to come to grips with the fact that talent and amazing performances is not the person that is behind the scenes. And it's difficult. I struggled with it until today, when I started reading that they were having meetings about how to deal with him on the set of House of Cards, like don't ever be alone, and if you're a gay young man, don't ever approach him by yourself. And I'm like, what? Like, he's that predatory? That is terrible. And wow. I have nothing to say about that behavior. My only issue is not just this, but I struggled with why are we hearing about things that are 30 years old? Why are we hearing, like, somebody, when 35 years ago, Dustin Hoffman made a pass at a 17-year-old, and I'm just, and the actress is coming forward bravely. And I'm thinking, I'm not saying that behavior was appropriate. It wasn't. It's terrible. It's awful. But why are we now, well, they're feeling comfortable given the climate. On Twitter, though, like, why are we using Twitter? Like, why aren't we using attorneys or spokespeople and serving people appropriate? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the part I'm struggling with, is utilizing social media to declare all of these horrible behaviors that occurred before some people were even born. I'm struggling really hard.
I'm sure there were many victims.
Oh, yeah.
And because it sounds like it's commonplace in this society that they live in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, in Hollywood?
Right.
The entertainment industry.
But you also have to figure, there's always three sides to a story.
Right.
There's her side, there's his side, and there's what actually happened.
Right.
I think that there's going to be a mixed bag of people who came out and truly were victimized.
Right.
And then I think there's people who are going to come out who probably were not, but just are going to say that to get some sort of a settlement because it's such a hot issue right now.
Right.
Which is sad, but yeah. Why do people pretend to be the Red Cross and get donations during a horrible disaster?
Advantageous.
It's advantageous. So I think that there's definitely real victims out there, but I wouldn't put it past people to come out and say that something happened, to just fishing for, something.
Well, the other problem that I'm kind of having is it's not limited to entertainment. It happens in every avenue. I mean, you and I have been sexually harassed, truly sexually harassed.
Right.
And we're not in entertainment. I mean, we were just in business. It doesn't, politics, it doesn't really matter. But the entertainment industry, it's difficult because there are people who said, absolutely not. Get out of here, you pig. And then there are the people who went, well, he could help my career if I did suck his dick, so maybe I'll just do it. Like, for as many women or men that come forward and say these things happened to me and it was detrimental to my career or my psyche or whatever, there's a whole other group of people who went ahead and did it. So it's really hard. Like, how do you decipher between an exchange of power versus a victim and a harasser? Like, that's to me, why isn't anybody talking about that? You know, I'm not saying that Kevin Spacey didn't victimize 30 or 40 men. Maybe he did. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
How many of them were consensual and now suddenly they're not? You know, that's the thing. And, you know, this isn't one of those things where you can generalize. Every single person is individually different. Every single one. And that means whoever decides to represent Kevin Spacey, if any legal action comes out of any of it, you know, that's tedious work. So
yeah.
It's really hard for me to have, you know, and because we're blanketing saying everything's harassment now, it's like, you can't do that. You have to be specific. Mm-hmm. I don't know why this came into my brain when all of this started coming out, where all these people apparently are terrible humans. And every time someone makes a really sloppy pass at someone, it's harassment now. Mm-hmm. But I remember one time our grandmother and this was back in the 50s, and harassment's been going on forever. She was walking home from the liquor store because our mom told us that they had parties every weekend. Like, their friends would come over and they would have dance parties like every weekend back in the 50s. And so our grandmother had gone to the liquor store to buy some whiskey or some rum, and she was walking home, and a guy was sitting on his front porch and pulled out his dick and showed it to our grandmother.
Yes.
And she said, "You better put that thing back in, or I'm going to take this bottle and cut your dick off with it."
Yes.
And kept walking. And I'm like, that's an appropriate response as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That is not something where I would take to Twitter and say, Mr. Feldman on 8th Street exposed his penis to me, and now I need money.
Right.
You know, I mean, there are many ways. And I was telling producer Deb that I said, but I really have to remind myself that not everybody reacts the way that our grandmother or I would. You know, and every situation is different. You know, you and I have had our own personal experiences where we've had to go to HR, or you were HR, mm-hmm. and you've had to deal with it. And it's hard, definitely difficult. But at the end of the day, we did do it the right way. We did try to use the proper channels the way they tell you to, and it didn't work. And that's when you have to do something vicious. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to retaliate in another way.
Well, I mean, I think the thing about being sexually harassed is it doesn't matter what type of person you are, you know. No. It doesn't matter if you're boisterous and vocal about saying, you know, like, leave me alone or blah blah blah. Maybe you're just shy by nature or something like that, or you got paralyzed and you're just like, is this really happening to me?
Right.
Like, are they really saying what they're saying to me?
Right. And you can't respond.
And it takes a minute to process, because you're in a place of business where you think everyone's just being professional. Mm-hmm. And then someone says something to you and you're just like, did they really just say that? You know?
And the incident has come and gone, and now you're standing there in shock.
Well, and the worst part about it is if they outrank you, you're just like,
well, yeah,
that is crazy. And so
yeah,
it's just, you know, I can see how it goes both ways. I mean, mm-hmm. you can tell them to get out or whatever, but the fact still remains is you were sexually harassed, regardless of whether you're, you know, shy or vocal.
Right.
And it's not the woman's problem to solve the problem. It's the harasser's problem.
Well, harassment in general isn't limited to man-woman either. I mean, now, especially in the world now where anybody of any sex can outrank another, and it can, I mean, even men against men, I mean, which is what we're seeing right now with Kevin Spacey. It's like he was taking advantage of younger gay men, and maybe not even gay men, just younger men. And for whatever reason, he was outranking them because of his status. Probably. I'm not sure.
Well, but I mean, it's like he's Kevin Spacey, for God's sakes. I mean,
yeah, exactly. So it's, all I know is that it's not simple issues. It's not easy, you know, and my biggest beef really is that taking to Twitter doesn't seem to be, to me, would not be the appropriate way to deal with it.
Well, I mean, she's gotta think ahead and think, what will this accomplish?
Right. I mean,
if she really wants some resolution, she would, like you said, she would need to get a lawyer and go forward with whatever it is that she's trying to do. But I mean, is she just trying to do a smear campaign, or is she trying to get some attention?
Right.
Or does she truly want some sort of settlement?
Right.
So
yesterday, I think Jeremy Piven, who, and I listen to a lot of different podcasts.
Yeah.
Jeremy Piven is kind of a well-known douchebag in Hollywood.
Exactly. He always plays douchey parts on
he does
movies.
I actually think he's pretty funny as the dorky or the side guy, the best friend.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in a million Cameron Crowe movies. He's always with John Cusack. He's always John Cusack's best friend.
Oh, okay.
Always. And I know he was in Entourage and stuff like that, but some actress came out and started accusing him of grabbing her boobs in a trailer on set somewhere on Entourage. And she did a tirade of the, and I'm like, suddenly, what did she get, have too much Chardonnay and decide that this was the time to accuse Jeremy Piven on Twitter for a sloppy pass in the trailer? Is it her sexual harassment? Yeah, I guess. But I mean, I didn't realize actor versus actor, that there's no power play there. It was just, he was being an asshole and made a physical pass at her. In my mind, I would have turned around and punched him in the mouth. Right. I don't know why she didn't, but she didn't. And like you explained, everybody responds differently. Mm-hmm. But it seems like it's a bit of a slippery slope to dangle that meat or chumming the waters of Twitter just haphazardly in the middle of the night. I mean, to me, it's like, I get it. And if you want to call him to the carpet because this is not the first time, I'm okay with that. But can we not, let the public determine the punishment? Can we just perhaps do it the right way? Is that so hard to do?
Right.
That's my problem. It's like, I legitimately believe everything, but can we just do it the proper way? Can we not just blast the world with your private business that you obviously didn't handle correctly in your mind the first time, so now you're going to handle it, but you're going to let everyone know that you're handling it before you actually do it properly? That's my problem.
Right.
You know what? I was thinking about it. I surmised in my brain what I thought was going on with all of these going public with all of this poor behavior. And I realized poor behavior is a very nice term for what's been going on. I think there are absolutely true victims of some terrible behavior, and I hope that they get redemption. I hope they get what they need to get done. I really do. And if Kevin Spacey's a predator, he should pay for it, just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. Especially in Hollywood or in the entertainment and even the music industry, which we've also been hearing about with some of these horrible producers. Is that power thing. This has been going on since the beginning of the creation of the entertainment industry. And I'm just wondering, are we seeing the last gasp of that? Are we finally seeing all of this uncomfortable, dirty laundry being aired out, even if it's inappropriate for me in my brain? Is this finally going to be, is the casting couch finally going away? Are we finally eradicating that old mentality that these young, beautiful women will come in and sleep with an ugly producer to get their role? Like, is it over? Maybe this is what has to happen. Maybe it all has to blow up for it to go away for good. And then when somebody does act like that, it's so bad, it's so egregious that they get called out immediately.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we're watching. Maybe that's what we're witnessing. Yeah. So maybe ugly and uncomfortable, but it's coming to an end, perhaps, or a new way of doing business in entertainment is finally taking over, which I think would be great. I don't think that a woman should go to, or a man should go to LA trying to be famous and have to suck someone's gross dick to get an Oscar. That's ridiculous. And that's been going on since the beginning. God only knows what Marilyn Monroe had to do, or, Rock Hudson or whatever.
Right.
So I don't know. I told Daryl I would keep it minimal, but I'm so disappointed in Kevin Spacey's behavior. I'm so sad by the realization that someone I really admired is such a disgusting person. It makes me sad.
So do you think his career is over?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. And it's too bad because he had a good run and he worked really hard and he just couldn't control his problem, which is predatory. And it's too bad. I mean, assuming that everything is true, of course, you know.
Well, I don't think he denied it.
He did not.
I think actually, did he apologize?
He apologized. He said he didn't remember because he was drunk in 26. I don't buy that, but it's not up to me to decide.
Yeah.
You know? It's up to him to, you know, and the person who accused him is very successful.
Yeah.
And I recognized his face immediately, and it wasn't on Twitter. It was through an article, a news article that was written, that he did an interview. I think it was Vogue or Vanity Fair or something. Anyway, also, I know because you just don't. I assume you've never watched Stranger Things.
No, I've heard of it, but...
Okay, Paula, you have to watch it. It's so good. You have to watch Stranger Things, the first season, and then start watching Stranger Things 2.
Is it about ghosts or anything like that?
No,
okay.
It's not. It's not. It's really good. And Ryan would love it. For sure.
Well, what's it about?
Well, it takes place in the 80s, so it's very nostalgic.
Oh,
and it's essentially about these 4 or 5 friends, and they're all 11 or 12. And they find there's a lab in their town they've been conducting experiments, and they've found an alternate universe, and it's bad.
Oh.
And there's monsters, and it's just so good. It is so good. It's like a real life Dungeons and Dragons, but takes place in the 80s.
Okay.
The second season, which just was released like a week ago, and most people have binge watched all 9 episodes.
Wow.
It takes place a year later. And so, you know, it starts like the day before Halloween. I mean, you're probably one of only 2 people in the world that hasn't watched it. So I would suggest starting with Stranger Things, the first season.
Okay.
And then hopefully you'll love it. And Ryan's going to absolutely love it for sure. But
what channel is it on?
It's Netflix.
Oh, Netflix. Okay.
It's on Netflix. Yeah. So you have to watch that. And then also, you were telling me fall television has returned, and you said you were watching. I was really surprised at some of the titles that you were saying that you are watching. What are you watching again?
Dancing with the Stars.
No, not that. It was new. You were watching Fresh Off the Boat?
Yeah, we watched that in Speechless.
See, now I tried to watch Speechless because I love Minnie Driver. Mm-hmm. I just can't. I cannot embrace it.
It's
really
so funny,
struggling.
though, Jamie. It's so funny.
I've heard that. My new obsession, and I'm way late to the party, is I discovered the Goldbergs.
The Goldbergs?
Yes, it's on Wednesday nights, before or after Modern Family. It also takes place in the 80s. And it is so funny. On Bridesmaids, the mom, the one that has all the boys.
I know who you're talking about, where she perms her hair and it's all curly, and she's like, "What do you think?" And
yes. Well, it's on its 6th season, so it's been around for quite a while.
6th season?
Yes. And so
what the hell channel is it on?
It's on Modern Family, ABC. It's on the same family. It's just on Wednesdays.
I don't know.
But I've been binge watching it because it's in syndication now. So I've been watching it on syndication. There's 2 episodes a night every day of the week. And so I cannot get enough. And so I've been watching that obsessively. And I love The American Housewife. I don't care that people hate it. I love it.
I'm not interested in her.
Oh my God. I know. But it's so good. I mean, I like it, I should say. It's very not realistic.
Exactly.
So I just love it. And she's just such a judgy bitch. And so I can't help myself. She hates all the rich, tall, blonde women, and I think it's awesome. So I just can't help myself.
Well, who doesn't? But
okay, so this weekend, finally excited about the UFC.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a while.
I just can't tell who's going to win. That's the problem.
Well, all I know is that producer Dub, he's like, I've never in my life wanted GSP to ever win anything, and I'm so hoping he beats Bisping.
I know.
He wants him to win so bad. Who are you a fan of?
Well,
you probably like Bisping, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I would want GSP to win for sure.
Okay, yeah, me too.
But the fight I'm actually looking forward the most to seeing is Garbrandt and Dillashaw.
And you want TJ to win.
Of course I want TJ to win.
Why? He's such a traitor. I'm so surprised that you want TJ Dillashaw to win.
Okay, but
he literally burned the bridges out of Sacramento to go to Denver because he didn't think they were doing him right.
They weren't. And as soon as he went to Colorado, his first camp, he won the title.
Yeah. Well,
there's nothing wrong with leading. And that's the thing is they just won't let it die.
Well, I think there was some bad blood between him and one of the coaches here in Northern California. And so and I'm with you. I actually did not consider it such a bad thing. I mean, if you need to, change it up to improve, then do it. So that part of it is not, I don't know. I just like Corey. I know he doesn't know how to talk very well.
Well, he's got, for starters, his name is Cody, but that's okay.
I said Corey?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I meant Cody. Sorry.
No, he's by far the worst shit talker in the world. I mean,
he's like, you rock.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, well, that's not what your mom said last night. Yeah, he's not good. He needs a writer, for sure. Well, speaking of, let's do our ugly and awkward moments of the week.
When I get up in the morning to wake the kids up, it's like, 6:45 or something like that. But I've just been super tired in the mornings. So I'll wake them up and then I'll go sit on the couch, and sometimes I'll just kind of like lay my head down and let the kids get ready because I'm just in, sweatpants and a t-shirt, and all I have to do is throw on a sweatshirt and I'm good to go.
Right.
So today I was sitting on the couch and I just laid my head back for a second and I was holding my coffee. And so all of a sudden I heard, "Mom, your coffee!" And I opened my eyes.
You're like, what?
And my hand had just like fell. And there was coffee all over the floor.
You'd fallen asleep and spilled your coffee?
I didn't think I was going to do that. I mean, I was just closing my eyes for a minute. So
oh my gosh.
I got it all over like the little blanket that I was sitting on my sweatpants, all over the floor. So I had to go and get the Swiffer and clean up my mess. But it was just funny because Ryan must have been watching me, what is she doing? And then started the coffee tipping.
Oh my God. Well, luckily you're not a smoker. You would have caught yourself on fire.
I know, right?
Jeez. So luckily, now we know those were all awkward moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hate spilling coffee too, because that stuff stains so bad. There's nothing.
It's so sticky too.
Oh God, I hate it. It's worse than anything. Okay, well, mine was, so Malia, we're wrapping up the football season, and Malia there were 2 games left last week, and then tonight is the last football game of the season, and it's really sad because they've not won one game. They're literally the Rydell High of high schools.
They didn't win a game at all?
At all. It was dismal. And, Daryl and I will go, and we know football pretty well, so we're watching, and we'll start questioning, like, why are they doing that? Why do they keep doing that? Why don't they just do this instead? And he goes, honey, they have 4 plays. That's all they know. That's literally what we're watching, is they only know 4 things.
Gosh, Ryan's flag football, they know at least 10.
Well, I know, but the coaches are just the worst. And I'm like, and this isn't even, it's not like you can fire them. It is what it is, but I'm like, they have to fire these guys. They got to get new coaches in here. There's got to be an option. There's got to be another option. This is just the worst. So now Malia's school, Rydell High, they're not known for their football. They're known for other sports like baseball and basketball. They're consistently in the playoffs. Football has never been their forte ever. Even when we were in high school. It was not, Rydell High was not the school.
Yeah, no, our school always beat that school.
In fact, that's why Rydell High was always our homecoming game, because we knew we'd beat them. It's always been that way, and it's just gotten worse and worse. So anyway, we said, hey, let's just go and get a snack afterwards. Because trying to be a cheerleader for a winless team, it is very difficult. It's not easy.
Yeah, really. You're like, all right, ladies, let's not fuck it up. Let's not fuck it up.
Well, and it's one of those things where it's like there's so many cheers you can't do, when they're winless.
Right.
It's like we're like in the beginning when everybody still believes that tonight's the night that we're going to finally ring that victory bell like we always wanted to. You can do a couple in the beginning. And then as the game wears on, you can't say we're out for a victory. You just can't do it. You know,
when it's 40-7.
Yeah. You can't, when it's 0 to 56, you can't be like, we're out to get a VVIV. No, there's none of that is happening. It's over. You know, we can be like, let's get a little bit rowdy. Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Can we just get a little rowdy? You know, and, you know, the last game we were at, it was only parents there. I mean, it was just, and it's a varsity game, and it's just so sad. And anyway, so we go to an Italian restaurant that's open late. And we weren't starving, but we wanted to get some appetizers. So I'm sitting there in the booth across from Daryl and our daughter. And I'm feeling particularly frisky because, you know, I get bored very easily at restaurants. And so I start doing stuff. We're all like that. We start fidgeting and we start doing, you know, saying things or messing with the salt and pepper shake. I don't know why we can't just sit there like normal people.
I don't know.
But I can't. Mm-hmm. And so I'm starting to read the menu to Daryl and I'm starting to like give him crap about whatever. And so I lean over, but I say it loudly because it's kind of a loud restaurant. And I go, hey, you want some arancini balls? And he's like, he starts laughing. And right when I say balls like that, a waiter comes over and I literally yell it in his ear because he leans over to pour water.
Oh, God.
I yelled balls in this guy's ear really loud. He's all, ah, you know, and he like backs up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And of course, Daryl and, well, you know, our daughter's really good. She just acts like she doesn't belong with us. She literally doesn't. She's just like, I see nothing. I hear nothing. I don't know who. And Daryl looks at me. He's like, oh my God, like what? And I'm like, oops.
He's like,
hey, at least I didn't say like testicles or something, which I did think about doing.
Testes?
But would you like some arancini testicles? But what was worse is that I said it really loud and right in this guy's ear. It was so, and he acted like nothing happened. He just walked away.
Oh my God. I'm sure you're not the first weird person to say something, but...
Right, yelling it in his ears. He's leaning over to pour water in someone's drink. Balls! God, I just have the worst timing.
Well, I think you win this week for shouting
balls
genitalia in someone's poor waiter's ear. He's like, I feel sexually harassed. Make that woman leave.
Kevin Spacey, is that you? No. Balls? Yeah, no. It's like, I'm sorry, but my doctor says I can't have balls flying in my face. Well, there goes her social life. So, anyway.
I think that's a wrap for this week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and for shopping our Amazon and Avon links. If you don't know what we're talking about, go to uglytruth.com, and there are buttons there that you can push so you can purchase Avon makeup, which is really good. That's all I use now. Also get the link to our Amazon page. It's getting closer for Christmas, so if you want to get a head start.
Speaking of, we had a suggestion that we should do our favorite things for Christmas.
I
think we should do. I can do 10.
Yeah. Where will we put them?
Well, I think we'll have producer Dub create a thing for us so we can see what our 10 favorite things are. Amazon's got a really cool way of doing that. And then, of course, Avon as well. So I think we'll come up with our 10 favorite things each. We might let producer Dub do a couple.
Oh, okay.
Even though I know it's going to be dumb stuff, but we'll let him do it anyway.
Anything that looks dumb is not ours. No, just kidding.
No, yeah. Well, I think we'll separate the lists.
Oh, okay.
Do you think we should, or do you think we should collaborate?
I think we should just have one giant wish list.
Okay.
And then you can type in parentheses like Paula or Jamie, so you know who wishes for what.
Then you'll be able to click on it and buy it if you want. So you can be more like us, because we know that's like super important to you.
Yes, exactly.
I thought about it. I'm like, should we put the silver bullet on there?
I think we should.
I think we should too. I have one now. I finally got one. Oh, did I ever tell you that I finally got mine to work?
What was wrong with it?
It was just a dead battery.
Oh.
So I finally put 2 new batteries in, and all of a sudden it was like literally it took off like an animal, like ran off the bed. I was like, holy shit.
It'll rip your clit off.
I know, I was going to burn my clit off. I'm like, okay, wait, let me turn that down. My God.
No,
sometimes it's necessary, but not always.
Well, right. Sometimes, what do I have? I have one, but it requires AAA batteries.
So you need AAA batteries?
Like
Is that what
little
you're telling me?
guys, I don't know.
Can I have some AAA batteries? My vibrator's not working.
Oh, walk into Radio Shack. Do you have batteries for this?
Radio Shack? Do those still exist?
Probably not. I don't know.
Say, God, you relic.
Go to Best Buy then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those guys at Best Buy wouldn't mind that at all. God, they always look so sexually deprived at that store. Have you ever seen those poor people?
I don't really pay attention to.
Oh, God, every time I walk in, I'm like, God, you need to get laid. I feel for you, dude or lady.
I don't know. They're all like in their, early 20s, probably in college. So, I mean, for the boys, that's their peak.
They just need to shampoo their hair or something. I don't know what it is, man. I just don't know if it's the polo shirt or, I don't know, the dead in the eyes. They just need some help.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's
so
okay.
Go on.
So like we said, just be sure to go to uglytruth.com. You can click on the Avon button and it'll take you directly to the Avon website. And there's an Amazon button. If you click that, it goes directly to the Amazon site. Anything you purchase, a small percentage goes to the show. And that helps us greatly to keep on plugging on. So... Yes. Until next week, have a fabulous week. Be good to each other, and we will see you next time. Bye. Bye.
That's a wrap. But make sure to watch your podcast feed for all the screw-ups and edits from this episode and what we call Ugly Cuts. And then we'll have a brand new full episode for you next week. Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Uglee Truth.